Hello friends, welcome back to this video on analog communication. In this video, we are going to discuss the pulse time modulation. So I have already discussed the pulse amplitude modulation and we'll be beginning this session with the drawbacks of pulse amplitude modulation so that after that we have a reason to move to the pulse time modulation. So now if I talk about the pulse amplitude modulation, one drawback I have already discussed in my previous video, which was aperture effect. So I hope you remember what was aperture effect. If not, you can go and watch my previous video as well. So I already told you the aperture effect comes due to the transfer function of the pulse stretching filter. So now to avoid that, we require an equalizer at the receiver. An equalizer is an additional component in the receiver. So we are increasing the complexity of the receiver. So now this is the first limitation. So we require an equalizer to overcome the process of aperture effect. So in the aperture effect, what was happening? The amplitude as well as phase of the output was changing. So we were not getting exactly the same input as the output. So in the output, we have the phase change as well as the amplitude change. So now, if this is my low pass filter, or I can classify it as reconstruction filter. Now after that we have equalizer. What should be the transfer function of the equalizer? The transfer function of the equalizer should be equal to 1 upon HF. So after that we'll get the same output. So now this is an additional block which is increasing the complexity of my network. So now the second limitation would be, so here if I talk about the pulse amplitude modulation, here the information is contained in the amplitude of the pulse. I hope you remember this. The changing amplitude is in accordance to the amplitude of the message signal. So the amplitude can be affected easily by the noise in the channel. So the noise interference and crosstalk would be there. So there is the problem of noise interference and crosstalk. So now for your reference, I'll be making the diagram. So let's suppose this is my PAM signal. So these are the changed amplitude in accordance to the message signal. So now what happens when this is transmitted to the channel? What will happen? The noise will add and maybe this amplitude will change, and here also the amplitude will change. Similarly here. So at 0 level also it would be changing. So now this type of signal is at the output. Now the information is lost, or information is, this is noise. Now noise is affecting my information directly. So this is the second limitation. I hope now you can directly see. Here in the amplitude I was having the information. Now amplitude is directly affected by the noise in the channel. Now I hope you are very clear about this as well. we'll move on to the third limitation. So now, as I already told you, we have different amplitude for different amplitude of the message signal. So this is my pulse. So now here we have different amplitudes which are representing the different amplitude of the message signal. So now if I need to calculate the power required for the transmission, because they have different amplitude, the power required for the transmission would be different. So now we have variable power for the transmission. So now I hope now you can imagine it. If I have different message signal, for different message signal, my different pulse amplitude modulated signal could be this. So like I have these two PAM signals. So the power requirement for this signal would be varying with this signal. So I cannot calculate what is the power required for the transmission of a signal. So the power will vary from signal to signal. So this is the next limitation, or I can classify it as the next drawback. So now here comes into the picture the pulse time modulation. So now the pulse time modulation is classified into two types. I have already told you about the two types, the pulse width modulation and the pulse position modulation. So first I'll be talking about the pulse width modulation. Although I have already told you what is pulse width modulation, so here I am just using the abbreviation. So I am using PWM for pulse width modulation. So what happens? The width of the pulse is changed in accordance to the instantaneous value of the message signal. So I can say here the width of the pulse is changing, or I can say the on time is changing. So if I have to represent it, I can say width of pulse is directly proportional to the amplitude of the message signal. So I am taking the message signal to be empty. So now whenever my width of the pulse will change in accordance to the amplitude or the instantaneous amplitude of the message signal, then it is pulse width modulation. And I have three types of pulse width modulation. So it is of three types. Now if I draw the first type, I must tell you what are the parameters which are classifying a pulse. So now this is my pulse. So here this edge is called trailing edge of the pulse. Now what is this edge? This edge is leading edge. Now here we have the center point. So now I hope this is very simple and this is very clear to you now, that what is trailing edge, what is leading edge and what is center point. According to these things, we will classify three types of pulse width modulation. So now let's suppose I have my pulse. This is representing my unmodulated pulse. I hope you remember the unmodulated pulse is having uniform characteristics. So this pulse will be having uniform characteristics. What are the characteristics? The amplitude is constant, the on time T is constant throughout, and sampling time is also constant. So what is sampling time? This is Ts. The sampling interval is also constant. The pulse on duration is also constant. Off duration is also constant. Amplitude is also constant. So this is my unmodulated pulse. Now let's suppose this is my message signal. So here the message signal is decreasing in amplitude. So now I'll be taking only 4 pulses to make it simple. So now this is my empty. The amplitude of the empty is decreasing. So this is my empty. Now first I'll be talking about trailing edge pulse. Trailing edge pulse width modulation. So I am writing it as trailing edge PWM. So now what happens in trailing edge pulse width modulation? The trailing edge is varying in accordance to the message signal. The leading edge is constant. So now if I denote it, so this is my leading edges, trailing edges. So now I am denoting it to make you all the things very visible. So now what happens? I said in the trailing edge pulse width modulation, the trailing edge of the pulse is changing in accordance to the value of the message signal. So now if I plot it, so now this is my leading edge. Leading edge would be here at the leading edge point only, but here the trailing edge has shifted. So now for the next interval also the trailing edge has shifted. Now the amplitude is going down, so leading edge would remain here only, so the trailing edge has shifted here. Now again the leading edge would be here only, the trailing edge has shifted. So now this is my pulse width modulation. Which type? Trailing edge type. So now the next type would be leading edge PWM. Now I hope you are guessing it. So how we can make it? So here the leading edge must vary. So here I can make my PWM signal like this. So here the trailing edge is constant, so it would not change. So here so I hope now you can see the difference. I have trailing edge fixed, so I have fixed the trailing edge. Now I am just varying the leading edge. So now the third type is leading trailing PWM. So now what should be happening here? So guess it. Here the center point is fixed. Now if I talk about the leading trailing, so here it should be like this. So now you can see what are the things which are varying. So here if I talk about this signal, here this trailing edge is varying and this is fixed. Now here this is fixed and this is varying. Now here this is varying and this is varying and the center point is fixed. So now I hope you are very clear about all the three types of pulse width modulation. If you still have any doubt, you can put the doubt in the comment now. So now here I'll be talking about the pulse position modulation. So as the name suggests, what should happen here? The position of the pulse should change in accordance to the instantaneous value of the message signal. So I have already told you how it happens. So now if I give you practically the scenario, so the practical scenario is that we compute the pulse width modulation. After that, from the wave which is generated, it is used to find out the pulse position modulated signal. So how we can find out the pulse position modulated signal? So here we have position of pulse is changing in accordance to the instantaneous value of the message signal. So I hope now you are clear. Now if I have to convert the PWM signal into the PPM signal, so the input is PWM signal, I am feeding it to the trailing edge triggered monostable multivibrator. So at the output I will be getting pulse position modulation. So now I hope you know what is monostable multivibrator. In monostable multivibrator we have only one stable state, and we are taking here the monostable multivibrator where the stable state is 0. So now I'll be making the waveform so that you'll understand it better. So I am taking any PWM signal. So now this is my pulse width modulated signal. So this is pulse width modulated signal. So the example of monostable multivibrator is 555 timer. You can take any of the monostable multivibrator. The only condition is that I am taking the trailing edge triggered monostable multivibrator. So what happens? So whenever it encounters the trailing edge, then it shifts to the another edge. So now here it encountered the negative edge. So here for a moment it shifts to the next stable state. So now this state is stable or not? For the monostable multivibrator we have only one stable state, so instantaneously it will come back. Similarly here, this is the trailing edge. Here it will go to the next state and then instantaneously it will come back. Similarly here, for this pulse it will encounter the trailing edge. So here it will encounter the trailing edge, it will go up, come back. So here also go up, come back. So this is, you can see directly, I have shifted the position of the pulses. Now this is large difference between two pulses and this is small difference between two pulses. So the difference between two pulses is in accordance to the amplitude of the message signal. So I hope now you are clear that how we can differentiate between PWM and PPM and how we can generate the PPM signal from PWM signal. Here we have the duration which is constant. So if I talk about the power requirement, you can see it has different width. So the power requirement for different message signal would be different. So the same problem which was here, variable power for transmission for different message signal, in PWM also we have same problem. Now in PPM we require an extra circuit for the designing of the PPM modulator. Similarly, in the receiver also we'll be seeing the difference in between PWM and PPM. So now we'll see the transmitter. So here I'll be talking about two types of transmitter. First, it is taking the analog signal. So here I am taking the analog signal directly. Analog signal is fed to an adder. So this is my adder. Now here we have a triangular function generator which have the same clock. So it is having the same clock which is used to generate the pulse. So the clock which is going to generate PT is going to trigger my triangular function as well. So now after that, this is added to the analog signal. Now it is fed to the comparator. So here I'll be making it. So this is my comparator. So here we have positive voltage is connected to the summation of analog signal and triangular function generator, and the negative signal is connected to the reference voltage. We are choosing our reference voltage. So now here at the output we'll directly get pulse width modulated signal. And now if I need to generate the pulse position modulated signal, here I'll be using monostable multivibrator. So at this output I'll be having ppm. So now let's analyze with the help of waveform what would happen in all of the blocks of this circuit. So this is the transmitter. So here let's suppose this is my analog signal. So this is my analog message signal. So now here I have triangular function generator. So let's suppose this is generating this triangular function. Now this is, so now I hope you are clear that what would happen here and here. Here we have directly the analog message signal and here we have triangular function generator. So now here we are adding these two. So now when I add these two, so this amplitude will go above this message signal's amplitude. So here we have so now it will look like this. So after the adder, so after the adder block I'll get this. So now comes into the picture the comparator. So now here I am taking any reference voltage. So let's suppose I have taken my reference voltage like this. So this is my VR. Now what happens? Comparator compares the value at the positive terminal and the negative terminal. If the value of the positive terminal is higher, that time it will give me the positive output, otherwise it will give me the negative output. So here it will compare these two values. So at the negative terminal I have VR, so we just need to check the VR and this value of the output of the adder. So now we'll see. Now here the output is negative, it's less than VR, so here output would be negative. Now here from this point up to this point the output is positive, so here we'll be having a positive pulse. Now we have a negative pulse. After that here also the output is positive from here up to here, so we'll be having this type of signal. So now here this type of signal. So now this is my PWM. Now it is passed to the monostable multivibrator and here at the trailing edge we'll be getting the rise time duration of the pulse. So here we have TR duration of this pulse. So this is my ppm. So now I hope you are clear about this signal. So if you have still any doubt, you can put the doubt in the comment now. So now coming to the second type of transmitter, here we have directly fed the analog signal. So now what I am doing, I am taking the sampled version of input signal. So here I have taken the sampled input. And again the clock which is driving the sampled input is same which is making the triangular function. So now like the previous one we have the adder, so both of them are added. Now we'll be having a comparator. So here we have a comparator, so here we have negative, here we have positive, and negative is supplied with the reference voltage VR. So here at the output we will be getting PWM signal, and if I pass it through monostable multivibrator, at the output I will be getting ppm signal. So let's understand what is the difference we have caused here. So instead of this message signal directly, we have taken the sampled input. So here I am removing this message signal. So now the sampled input will be having the amplitude which is varying in accordance to the message signal. We all know that. So this is the amplitude here. This is So this is now my input signal. So this is my sampled input. So the amplitude now is changing in accordance to my message signal. So here I have taken this. Now I'll be having same triangular function generator. So here this is same. So now here we are adding this sampled input with the triangular function. So instead of this signal, now here I'll be having so now here I'll be choosing the reference voltage. So here this is the output of this plus this. So whenever this is added with this, we are adding the amplitude, so the output will look like the black signal. So now here I am choosing the reference signal. So the reference signal is chosen like this. It's a straight signal. So this is my VR. Now according to this, it is fed to the comparator and the values of the reference signal and the input signal are compared. So here we'll be getting the output. So I am changing the output. So now similarly this is my PWM. Similarly the PPM output would change. So here at the trailing edge I will be getting the output. Here also at the trailing edge I will be getting the output. So this is my PPM signal. When this is passed to the monostable multivibrator, I will be getting the PPM signal. So let's understand this again. So here we have the sampled input. So this is the sampled input. How we were sampling the input? The input was taken, the samples were taken at the specific point of the input. So now the amplitude would be changing in accordance to the input. So here I have taken these samples. These were changing in accordance to the input. So now this is my triangular function generator. So both have same duration, which I am ensuring with the help of same clock. So I am giving same clock to both of them. So now this is the adder block. So here this and this signal are added. So now I am adding this plus this. So I will be getting this signal, which is represented by black signal. So now here it is fed to the comparator. So at the positive terminal of the comparator I have this black signal, and at the negative terminal we have this reference voltage, which is denoted by VR. Now what is the output of the comparator? The output of the comparator will be positive when this is the black signal which is fed to the positive terminal. Black signal is fed to the positive terminal whenever this is greater than the negative terminal. So what is fed to the negative terminal? VR is fed to the negative terminal. So when here signal at the positive terminal is greater than the signal at the negative terminal, that time I'll get the positive output. So here from this point, so from this point up to this point I have this signal, black signal is greater than the reference voltage. So here I'll be getting the positive wave. Here from this point up to this point I'll be getting a positive wave. So similarly here from this point up to this point I'll be getting a positive wave. So here you can see directly the width of the pulse is changing in accordance to the amplitude of the message signal. Here we have higher amplitude, so here we have higher width. So now here I have used the monostable multivibrator. So whenever we have trailing edge, that time we'll be having the change in the state. So here it will go to the upward state because it is stable on the downward state. So as soon as it go to the upward state, after the duration of TR rise time, it will come back to the downward state. Similarly here whenever it encounter the trailing edge, here and here it is encountering the trailing edge, it will go up, come back. So now I hope you are very clear about the transmitter of PWM and PPM. So I hope you are clear that in PPM we require an extra block which is monostable multivibrator. Rest all of the parts are same. So I'll be stopping my discussion here. I hope you like each and everything. If you still have any doubt, put the doubt in the comment as I have already said. So now I hope you like this video. If you like it, share it with your friends, subscribe the channel and push the like button. Thank you.